Hello and welcome inside Lucas Oil Stadium for another presentation of WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan basketball. I'm Alex Drain, joined by Andrew Miller today here in Indianapolis, Indiana for the 2021 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament. Michigan Wolverines, the number 1 seed in this tournament, taking on the 8th-seeded Maryland Terrapins. The Terps won yesterday against Michigan State, which denied another in-state matchup between Michigan and Michigan State. But Michigan and Maryland have seen each other twice this season. Michigan claimed both of those games. A lot of questions about personnel this game, but it does appear Eli Brooks is ready to go. He's listed in the starting lineup, so that's good news for Michigan, trying to get right on the right side of things after that loss last Sunday to MSU. Andrew, what are you looking for in today's game?
You're looking for cohesion from the Michigan basketball team, but that's at the end of the day. This Michigan is almost guaranteed number 1 seed at the end of the day, so they don't want to screw it up here. Terrapins are trying to show they are tournament contenders and willing to clinch themselves a spot right here. It's supposed to be a great game out there today.
Maryland and Michigan have just come back out onto the court. Michigan wearing the home whites. Maryland, it appears they will be in the all-yellow uniforms. They've got red sort of warm-up sweatshirts over their jerseys, and both teams just doing some shoot-around right now, and then we'll be ready to get this going in about 2.5 minutes. Maryland this season, 15-12, right on the bubble. Michigan, on the other hand, as Andrew mentioned, headed right towards a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Of course, Sunday is Selection Sunday, and Michigan hopes that they'll be playing just a few hours before that in what would be the championship game of the Big Ten tournament. The winner of this game will take on the winner of Ohio State and Purdue. That one will be coming up after the conclusion of this contest. It's a little unusual feel. We're in a football stadium and not a basketball stadium, that they have erected a court here on the playing surface, and they've got a big industrial-sized curtain separating the football stadium in half. And I have to say, I haven't been in many NFL stadiums, but this is a massive stadium.
No, this is one of the bigger ones. This is the house that Peyton Manning built.
Yep.
It is huge. I've been used to Ford Field all my life, and this is like at least, I'd say, about 40% larger than Ford Field is. It's huge in here. It gives you just the understanding of how exactly large a football field is compared to a basketball stadium.
Yeah, and it's the roof that is a big difference. I mean, the stadium's pretty wide as well, but the roof is just massively high, and there's always question about how the shooters will be able to shoot in a big stadium like this. That comes up in the NCAA tournament. You get the perspective issues, where the stadium is a lot deeper than you're used to in a college basketball arena, especially. The Big Ten tournament is normally in a basketball arena. It's normally at either the United Center in Chicago or Bankers Life Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis, but the women's basketball tournament is being held in the same city, and the women got the basketball stadium, so the men get the football stadium, and this is where the Final Four will be.
Well,
obviously, Michigan will hope that they will be here in a few weekends.
You hope so, and if then Michigan will be hopefully be one of the few teams there with experience in this environment. If air density does actually matter to shooting, who knows?
Yeah. Both teams are now going over to their benches. We already did the national anthem. They did the national anthem about 11 minutes before
I was surprised, too.
Scheduled tip-off. And then the players went back into the locker room, and then they came back out onto the floor. So
things get weird come tournament time. It's just how it is.
It definitely appears to be a partisan Michigan crowd. They are only allowing between 5,000 and 6,000 fans into the stadium. At least that was the capacity of the games yesterday. But the fans that are here definitely seem to be favorable towards Michigan in pretty much every way.
I have seen
a few Maryland fans.
I have seen one Maryland fan all day. All the red is for Ohio State in the game later. Someone overheard me say that. So it seems as though Michigan is well represented. Mostly students. I'm surprised no Maryland students are here, apparently.
Well, it is a decently long trek from College Park, Maryland to Indianapolis, Indiana. Only about 4 hours from Ann Arbor. That's a trek we made last night.
Yes.
Now they are announcing the starting lineups. We can go through those in just a moment. Maryland getting introduced first, and it'll be Michigan's turn. For Michigan, it is the usual suspects, you could say. Mike Smith, Eli Brooks, Franz Wagner, Isaiah Livers, and Hunter Dickinson. Brooks was in a walking boot during this past week, but apparently his ankle was only a day-to-day injury. It was a game-time decision, and he's in the starting lineup, so that's big news for Michigan, who, they've only lost 3 games this season, but 2 of those 3 losses came in games where Eli Brooks didn't play the majority of the game due to injuries. Maryland will be starting Eric Ayala and Aaron Wiggins in the backcourt, and as well as Daryl Morcell, 3 guards there, and then Hakeem Hart as a wing. And they're going with their small ball lineup, Donta Scott at the center position, as opposed to Galen Smith, who sometimes starts there. Maryland comes into this game after a really good defensive effort yesterday. They really shut down a hot Michigan State team. MSU was fresh off of beating Michigan on Sunday. They had an early lead in that game, but Maryland just choked the life out of the Spartans, especially in the second half. A really impressive defensive effort, and Maryland needed that win to get into the tournament. Right now they're seen just on the right side of the bubble. It will be a tense selection Sunday for Maryland if they cannot win this game today. If they can win this game today, they will in all likelihood punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. And Eli Brooks was just announced as a starter, and that drew a huge cheer from the Michigan crowd. It appears Franz Wagner might have some fans in the building, because way up there by the Eric Dickerson Legends name, there is a Michigan flag next to a German flag.
Is there really?
This side over there.
That's, yes.
Yep, right.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Between Eric Dickerson and Marshall Falk.
That's fantastic. I love that. Eric Dickerson? Why would they have him? He was
only a Colt for a few years, but
for a few years, and it was because he forced his way out of Los Angeles. I don't think he would consider himself an Indianapolis Colt, but good for him.
Well, we're just about ready for tip-off. Both teams getting the final words in from their coaches. Michigan coached by Juwan Howard, now in his second season, 38-15. Mark Turgeon, the head coach for the Maryland Terrapins, now in his 10th season, 218-111. This was a bit of a rebuilding year for Maryland, you could say, after losing Anthony Cowan and Jalen Smith from last year's team that was very good, got robbed of a chance to play and make a run in the NCAA tournament with the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously. But no concerns here, and all the Big Ten tournament games have been going smoothly. The ACC's had a lot of problems over the last 2 days with COVID-19 positive tests, but the Big Ten has been running smoothly, and we are ready for this game here today.
Yes, sir.
Juwan Howard, Big Ten Coach of the Year, shown up on the Jumbotron next to his name. And Hunter Dickinson will do the tip-off. He'll jump it up with Donta Scott. Both benches jumping around, getting ready to be hyped up for this game, and head referee will walk over there and get ready for the opening tip-off. Here we go. Dickinson with the height advantage over Scott wins that tip-off back. He's got 6 inches on Scott, and you have to think Michigan will want to establish him in the post early. Eli Brooks with the ball outside. Dribbles around. He's got a little something on his ankle. Step back jumper way off the mark, but saved by Dickinson. Out to Smith, around to Wagner in the corner. Wagner waits for it. That first Eli Brooks shot, an air ball, looked a little wobbly. They give it back to him. Gets a screen from Dickinson, now across to Mike Smith. Smith, step back 3, and that one off the heel. Isaiah Livers rebound, out to Eli Brooks. Now they get it into Dickinson. 2 offensive rebounds on this possession already. Dickinson, turnaround, little.
What a move!
Just off the glass and down for the first bucket, and Michigan starts with the 2-0 lead.
Great way to just slither in there for Hunter Dickinson. You love to see it double teamed and still makes the basket.
Eric Ayala with the ball, around to Aaron Wiggins. Now to Scott. He's got athleticism edge on Dickinson. Gets into the lane, turnaround, little hook shot, and it goes through for Donta Scott. That'll be the matchup here today. Dickinson's height advantage on the offensive end, but Scott, as a smaller, undersized center, have that ability to slither past him. Wagner around to Livers. Smith, Brooks in the corner. Hands it off to Livers, back to Brooks. 10 on the shot clock. 90 seconds gone in the contest. 2-2 score. Brooks dribbles inside across to Wagner. 5 on the shot clock. Got a pull-up from 3, and that one off the mark. Michigan starts a little cold from 3-point range. And Maryland with the ball. Wiggins will bring it up. Around to Eric Ayala. Across to Hakeem Hart. Now dribbling baseline. Wiggins runs into some trouble. Kicks it back out. Now Donta Scott dribbles inside. Back out to Hart. 10 on the shot clock. Scott open for 3. He's a good 3-point shooter, and he cans his first.
Over Hunter Dickinson, all 7'2" of them.
Scott, a 44% 3-point shooter, knocks that one in. It's a quick 5-2 start. Wagner across to Smith. Back to Wagner, back to Brooks. Now Livers in the corner. He's got an open 3, and that one just rims out for Isaiah Livers. Michigan now 1 for 5 from the field to begin the game. Maryland 2 for 2 so far, and both buckets from Scott. Daryl Morsell, the Big Ten Defender of the Year. They pass it around in the paint, and there's a quick jumper for Daryl Morsell from the free throw line, and it's a quick 7-2 Maryland lead.
Making everything out here, and just all contested shots still draining for him.
Livers gets the screen from Dickinson. Livers just inside the 3-point line. His shot off the mark, tipped around by Dickinson. Rebound by Maryland. Michigan now starts 1 for 6 from the field. Michigan hasn't scored in just over 2 minutes. 3 minutes gone here in the first half. Michigan needs to get a stop. Donta Scott with it. Passing around outside. And then a quick turnover there. Daryl Morsell just lost his handle on it. Dickinson takes it away. Michigan a little fortunate there. Mike Smith with the ball. Smith passes around. Wagner inside. Little underhand scoop, and it goes down. 7-4.
Fantastic use of momentum by the slithery Franz Wagner.
Ayala, the nominal point guard for the Terps, brings the ball up. Michigan playing a little bit of a zone right now. Hart across, open 3 for Donta Scott, and he puts that one off the heel. Livers the rebound down. That's Maryland's first miss. Now Wagner open for a long 3, and he puts that one a little short. Michigan now 0 for 3 from distance.
Trying to show his NBA range and misses a little, just took a little bit of a tough shot right there.
Yeah, not quite the shot I have to think Juwan Howard would like to take, standing 4 or 5 feet behind the 3-point line. Michigan still playing that zone defense. They pass it around. They've got an open look for 3, and that one rims around and out. Tipped around. That'll go out of bounds off the hands of Donta Scott. Michigan will have the ball, and we head into the under 16 media timeout. Michigan trails 7-4 thus far. Just looking at the early numbers. Wagner 1 for 3, Smith 0 for 1, Livers 0 for 2, Brooks 0 for 1, and Dickinson 1 for 1 for Maryland. Scott 2 for 3, Morsell 1 for 1, and Wiggins the other miss for the Terps. Story in this game will be 3-point shooting. Maryland is 5-10 when the opponent shoots better than 30% from 3. They're 11-2 when the opponent shoots less than 30% from 3. And conversely, the Terps are 5-9 when the opponent they shoot less than 35% from 3, but 11-3 when they shoot better than 35% from 3. So those are some things to watch so far. Terps are just a little under that 35% threshold at 1 for 3 at the moment, but Michigan has not made a 3, so they're below that threshold.
Yeah, Michigan is normally living or dying by how well Isaiah Livers plays any given night, and they got to shoot. He's got to make his threes. That one shot, that corner 3 earlier, is paramount to their success today.
Both teams having a quick huddle, and we can talk about the bracket. As we mentioned, Purdue and Ohio State will be playing after this game to face the winner of this one, and then later tonight you'll have a pair of evening matchups between, on the lower side, 2 versus 7, Illinois and Rutgers, and then 3 versus 6, Wisconsin and Iowa. Both pretty big matchups, and Big Ten, a lot of good teams this season. At the moment, according to the bracket projections, Michigan and Illinois would be number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Iowa and Ohio State would be number 2 seeds, and Purdue somewhere between a 3 and a 4. Wisconsin a little bit farther down, but 7 of the 8 teams playing today all looking to get higher seeds in the tournament, and all 8 will probably make the tournament. Big Ten projected to get about 9 teams in. The only one not playing today is Michigan State, who lost yesterday to Maryland.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but that's how it goes. February is, though.
Looks like there are a few Spartan fans just a few rows in front of us who might have had tickets for today and just decided to come anyway.
I have seen a lot of Spartan fans out here in the stadium. I'm surprised. Maybe they're coming with their parents or something. Who knows?
Well, timeout is just about over, and these teams will be coming back out onto the court. Michigan will have the ball, trailing 7-4. Wolverines only shooting 2 of 8 from the field. Maryland 3 of 5. Michigan's got a couple offensive rebounds that extended one possession. Both teams with 2 assists on their buckets. Both of Michigan's buckets were assisted. Now Livers will do the inbound. This Michigan team is just looking to get their feet under them here in this game. Several day layoff since their last contest. Mike Smith dribbles around with it, out to Eli Brooks, gets the screen. Austin Davis is now out onto the floor. Cross Livers into the corner. He's going to step back potentially for 3. Smith across. Brooks open look from 3, and he left that one a little short. Davis tips it around. Livers grabs the offensive rebound. Michigan right now has got the edge on the glass. Screen for Smith. He cuts inside, puts it up, off the window, no. Tipped around, and Brooks can't grab the rebound, and they're actually going to get a foul on Brooks on the loose ball, or maybe it's on Davis. Not sure who they're going to tack it on.
Looks like it'll be on Brooks.
But right now, Michigan cannot buy a basket with any consistency. 2 of 10 from the field at the moment, and some open looks there. Eli Brooks has started 0 for 2 in this game, and both shots not the best looking at the moment. May still be feeling a little aggravated in that ankle. They get a quick pass across. Now they go quickly into the post. Galen Smith there posting up on Davis, backing in. Decent defense from Davis, but they're going to call a foul on him on that little turn towards the basket. He fouls Smith, and that'll send a 65.5% free throw shooter to the stripe.
Bought too hard on the pump fake. Went up with him early. There's nothing else to do but foul him.
Smith, the transfer from Alabama, 6'9", 235, the most traditional center who plays consistently. And his first free throw rattles around and down, 8-4. Smith, even though he is a traditional center, still a little undersized at 6'9". Davis at 6'10's got the height advantage, but not by much. And Smith makes his second, so Maryland starts 2 for 2 from the free throw line. They've been very good on free throws this season, and were yesterday. 9-4, Terps on top. Wagner double teamed. Across to Smith. Wagner to Brooks. Hands it off to Livers. He beckons Davis out to the three-point line. Dribbles around a few guys to Brooks in the corner. They're doing a really good job keeping Michigan outside. That three-pointer from Livers, no. Up to Davis, the rebound, and he puts it in.
Wow!
And Michigan right now is killing Maryland on the offensive glass, 4-0.
Scoop that out of the air. Oh, my Lord.
And then up the floor comes Daryl Morsell. Across to Aaron Wiggins, back to Morsell. Gets Ayala off a screen. He's open from 3, and Ayala knocks it down. 12-6, Maryland on top. They're now 2 of 4 from 3, and this is exactly the formula that the Terps want. Get hot from 3 and force Michigan on the perimeter, and the Wolverines aren't making their shots at the moment.
No, the
Smith looks to Davis.
No, the Terps are playing with a lot of sense of urgency at the moment. They're getting out to everyone. Closing
that one
shots.
out to Brooks, and the shot is off the mark. Michigan now is 0 for 6 from 3 to begin this game, and that was a wide open look.
That's the first wide open 3 they've had all game, and they missed
There's the play again. Ayala, another open 3. They ran the exact same set and got him free off the screen. Brooks a little late on that one yet again. Now Davis off to Livers. Livers is going to pull up from 3, and that one off the backboard. Maryland the rebound, going to throw it up the floor looking for Smith. Now for a dunk, count it, and a foul. Flying in there is Daryl Morcell for the lay-in. Now 14-6. And free throws upcoming. And I think Juwan Howard is going to call a timeout. His team now down 8. They are shooting 3 of 14 from the field. Maryland 5 of 8 from the field and shooting 40% from distance. Michigan 0 for 7 at the moment. And there's a lot to talk about for Juwan Howard's group.
You have to imagine it's going to start with like the patience on offense. They're taking unwarranted shots and making really bad decisions on offense in general. And on defense, they're not giving that much of effort that the Terrapins are seeming to give. So Michigan just got to get back into it. I think they probably came in here thinking the Terps are going to be an easy win, and they got to psych themselves out of that right now.
Well, one of the stories of this week is that very few teams in this tournament so far have shot the basketball well. And that's been a story so far for Michigan, not shooting well whatsoever. Mike Smith standing out there. He hasn't been able to do much. No one on Michigan really has. And Morcell will step to the free throw line. He's only a 55% free throw shooter. But he knocks it down. Maryland starts 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Michigan a couple adjustments. Livers is going to come off the floor. Interesting. Brandon Johns comes on. They also bring Brooks off and Shawnee Brown on. This is a 6-0 Maryland run over the last about 54 seconds. Now Shawnee Brown in the corner. Open from 3, and Brown knocks it in.
Every single time, Shawnee Brown is the spark plug on the bench, making clutch threes all the time. Does it again here.
It's a big shot for Michigan. They trim it back to 6, 15-9, and now we're going to have a whistle. And I think there's an injury on that play. They're letting Maryland make a substitution. Someone is hobbled, headed over to the bench. They're trying to see the number. Donta Scott comes back into the game. 19 on the shot clock as play resumes. They pass it around outside. Reese Mona onto the floor. He'll hit Wiggins inside. Nice bounce pass underneath. Galen Smith up and under, and he lays it up and lays it in. Maryland now shooting 66% from the field. Red hot offensively right now, and Austin Davis is still on the floor for Michigan. Smith outside. Wagner dribbles in the lane. Wagner to nice confident finish.
Make that basket. No one else on that team makes that layup other than Franz Wagner.
Maryland comes up the floor. Hakeem Hart with the rock over to Wiggins. Just inside the three-point arc. Lost his handle on it, and he'll have to kick it out to Scott. Scott matched up with Brandon Johns. Now they continue to feed it around, dribbling inside. Wiggins runs into trouble. 8 on the shot clock. Hakeem Hart with it outside. He's going to pull up from 3. That one rims around and out. Hart, a 35% three-point shooter, can't get that one to go. Maryland now 2 of 6 from distance. Michigan 1 of 8. Smith inside, dribbling around underneath. Kicks it to Wagner. He's in the corner. Wide open look from 3. Wagner leaves that one long, but Davis, another big offensive rebound. Underneath, lays it up, off the glass and in. Austin Davis, little crafty post move there, and the lead down to 4, 17-13 Maryland.
2 minutes in, I think he shot that ball with his torso out of bounds. What a shot.
Now the Let's Go Blue chant starting, is trying to get their team fired up. Underneath, Donta Scott, drive to the rack. Good defense from Johns to contest, though, and Scott missed the layup. Michigan grabs the rebound. They've now made a couple stops in a row. Smith gets the screen from Davis. Pull-up jumper at the free throw line. Rattles around and down. 17-15, just like that. That is a quick 6-0 run in the last about 80 seconds of this game as we approach the halfway point of the first half. 2-point Maryland lead.
What a run.
17-15. Terps on top. Wiggins into the lane. Ball is loose on the floor. Wagner picks it up, but then he almost gave it right back. Now a kick ball. I'm not sure who kicked it. I think it might be, I don't know. We'll have to see who the kick ball was on. I don't know who will have the ball when play resumes. But we're into the under 12 timeout. Michigan started to heat up. They've hit 4 of their last 5 from the field. Still not doing anything from 3 except that one Shawnee Brown make, but they're getting to the rack with more consistency right now.
No, just being more aggressive on offense and being willing to drive is a key factor for Michigan right now. Franz Wagner making those layups. I mean, you got Austin Davis making crafty post layups. I think that's the way Michigan should be going. They should be playing inside out today against Terrapins, who are really good defensively on the wing.
Both teams have gone back to their benches, and Juwan Howard called that timeout about 2 minutes ago, or actually closer to 3 minutes ago. And as a result, his team came out a lot better out of that timeout, and now a quick run to get themselves right back in this first half. Both will look through the box score at the moment. Michigan, Wagner, and Davis lead with 4. Donta Scott with 5. He had Maryland's first 5, hasn't scored since then. And Daryl Morcell with 5. 2 for 2 from the field, and he made the free throw on the and one bucket. Maryland still shooting pretty well, 55% from the field. Michigan a little bit worse, but better than where they had been at 37%. Maryland 2 of 6 from the 3, Michigan 1 of 9. They're going to need to get better there. But as we mentioned, the perspective of playing in the football stadium is interesting, and we've seen this all tournament long so far. Teams not shooting well from 3 because for whatever reason it's tougher to judge where the hoop is when the stadium extends so much farther behind the backboard than it normally does.
I mean, you have 3 rows of press boxes right behind the basketball hoops on both sides. You have to imagine that's just augmented for the guys who are typically used to enclosed spaces like Michigan and Maryland.
Yeah, to give you a sense of what this setup looks like, again, they've got a big curtain that's cut the stadium in half, and then they've put up a lot of sort of different seating arrangements, took out a lot of seats on one side and on the other to extend the court lengthwise. And each bench has some bleachers behind the benches. You've got the scorers and the television in their normal spot. Media both farther past one sort of end zone, and then we're facing the court horizontally on the sideline. This is not like it will be at the Final Four in past years where you put the court in the middle of the football stadium and you can pack 60,000, 70,000 people in. They have really tightened this up, and obviously fans are being social distanced across what seating is available.
Seating is available, and there's still like whole sections and areas without people sitting in there. There's like a whole 7 rows right next to us that have no fans.
Those might be marked off for something. I'm not sure.
Maybe teams and families?
Perhaps.
It seems like most of the front rows are, in fact, empty.
Well, here we go out of the timeout. Hunter Dickinson has come back onto the floor, and it appears it'll be Michigan's ball. We were wondering about what the kick ball was on that last play. Or maybe it won't be. Might be Maryland still. Yep, it looks like it will. Yep. Some of the Michigan players were walking down the other way like they had it, and the referee told them no, and now they're going to get the inbound here from Daryl Morcell on the baseline. 20 on the shot clock. 10:42 to go in the first half. 17-15 Terps. That inbound almost snared by Livers. Now Smith got his hand in there, knocked it away from Scott. Maryland having all kinds of trouble with the ball right now. Michigan going back into that zone. Now they go into the middle. Mishandling it there was Scott. Now he double dribbled, and that's a turnover. Maryland just looked like they had, I don't know, something slippery on their hands. No one could handle the rock there.
They just looked confused out there, like they had no idea where that ball was going from the beginning of it.
It's very frustrating to have a turnover out of a timeout if you're Mark Turgeon. And now Michigan's got a chance to tie. 17-15. Smith dribbles baseline. He runs into trouble. Great pass, though, to get it across to Livers in the corner. 15 on the shot clock, and now we're going to get a foul on Hunter Dickinson. Offensive foul as Donta Scott goes to the floor, and you really have to think Juwan Howard's not happy about that.
No, not at all.
Can't want to limit his fouls, and you especially want to limit his fouls on the offensive end when he doesn't even have the ball. And he's not even setting a screen either. Michigan's playing right now with Shawnee Brown out there and Brandon Johns. They've brought Brooks and Wagner back to the scorer's table. They're going to come in at the next stoppage. And there's a quick little dance inside by Daryl Morcell, and he finishes, puts the Maryland lead back up to 4, 19-15 Terps on top. Livers across to Mike Smith. Smith behind the back, dribble into the paint, turns around, he runs into some trouble, hands it over to Dickinson, back outside Smith. 14 on the shot clock. They're trying to get it in to Dickinson, and Maryland's doing an excellent job denying him the entry pass. Now 7 on the shot clock, down to Livers, down to 5, and he's going to throw it around, and he just turns that one over. Maryland's now got a run out, and we have a whistle, an early whistle about something, denying what was a fast break opportunity. Can't hear what the whistle was about.
I imagine a foul is somewhat intentional to get a 2-on-1 away from Mike Smith, who would have 0 shot defending that.
Not sure what the whistle was, but Mark Turgeon was not happy about that, and that's a tough team turnover there from Livers. They had just no movement going and just cannot get the ball inside to Dickinson on that possession. Now Maryland turns that one right over. Eli Brooks pries it free. He hits the floor. Michigan's now got an opportunity to run up. Terps get back, though. Livers to Dickinson. Wagner on the wing. Hounded there defensively. Trying to get a screen from Dickinson, and they're going to call Dickinson for a moving screen. And the Michigan fans are furious, and that is a really bad 3-minute stretch there from Hunter Dickinson. He goes off the court, and you have to think Austin Davis is now going to be on for the remainder of the half, and Dickinson is extremely angry. He was trying to set that screen. I'm not sure about that call.
Yeah, neither am I. He was
the first one definitely made sense, but that seemed like he was set there.
What are you going to do?
Now here's Hakeem Hart, gets it inside to Scott. Michigan playing that zone, and Scott makes a little free throw line jumper, and Maryland with a quick 4-0 lead, or 4-0 run to push the lead back up to 6, 21-15. We got 8.5 to play in the first half. Michigan had all the momentum a moment ago. Now we're going to get a foul defensively on the Terps outside after really no fouls in the first few 8 or so minutes. These last few minutes have had 3 or 4 fouls. Sean D. Brown will inbound. Back right into Brooks. Brooks is playing the point with Smith off the floor. Gets it around to Wagner. They're trying to get it into Davis, and I mean, they just cannot. Donta Scott just relentless right now. Now a pass from Wagner picked off, but knocked out of bounds by Wiggins. Michigan will have 4 on the shot clock. No ball movement at the moment. Maryland's perimeter defense denying Michigan's ball screen sets and any entry passes. Wolverines ripped Maryland apart in the 2 games earlier this season, but defensive adjustments from Mark Turgeon have been excellent so far. Livers across to Brooks. Pull up 3, and that's not going to hit the rim. Caught way below the basket there, and now they get it up to Wiggins inside with the jam! A one-handed throwdown in the face of Franz Wagner, and the Maryland bench is going wild. This is a 6-0 run for the Terps.
Ohio State fans.
And Livers across to Eli Brooks. Brooks to Davis. Davis looks to get it to Livers. Livers crossover and now a reach-in foul. And we'll head into the under 8 media timeout. Michigan had been on a quick run, and now Maryland has countered. They lead by 8. 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Michigan has turned it over 3 times in the last 3 minutes, not to mention the air ball on the other possession. They are in a funk at the moment.
Back to their old ways, just trying to dribble out of situations and shooting, jacking up threes. There's got to be better ball movement and coordination from the Michigan offense.
Well, Hunter Dickinson is now off the court with his 2 fouls, and he will probably be off the court for the remainder of the half. And this is definitely an interesting game for Juwan Howard to try and manage his team and come up with the right game plan to answer what Maryland is doing. You have to wonder if Howard will go small out of the timeout with Dickinson not being on the floor. They've had Davis, but will they go to Johns at the 5? Will they try Franz Wagner at the 5? Those are interesting questions.
I'm also curious if they'll ever try to put Williams out there while they have the opportunity. Might try to get some athleticism out there on the offense.
It's a possibility. Right now there are only 6 total fouls called in this game, 4 on Michigan, 2 on Maryland, but 2 of those 6 total have gone against Hunter Dickinson, and that is a major, major problem for Michigan at the moment. Dickinson named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and Michigan will have to be without him most likely for the remainder of this first half. And again, just to catch some people up on the storylines in this game, Maryland shooting 64% from the field, 9 for 14. They have turned it over 3 times, though. Only 2 of 6 from 3, but they've been able to penetrate and get inside, shooting 7 of 8 on 2s in this game. Michigan, 6 of 10 from 2, but 1 of 10 from 3. You know, if they are shooting more like their season average, this is basically a tied game. But right now, Michigan can't make any threes, and we talked about earlier in this game how good Maryland is when they can hold the opponent to less than 30% from 3. Obviously, at 10% at the moment is Michigan. They are doing just that.
100%. Michigan's big problem right now is they're facing a really good wing defending team in Maryland, and they're still deciding to jack up threes. They probably got to get bigger out there. Maybe go 2 big twin towers in the second half.
That's where you would like to be able to dominate this game with the big men. And it is worth noting, Eli Brooks, again in the lineup, dealing with that ankle injury, but his shots have all been short in this game. None of them have even, really come close to going in. He does not look like himself at the moment. Michigan trails by 8. When Michigan will have the ball, as that foul went against Morcell. They come back out. They're going to stick with Davis. Eli Brooks out there, gets the screen from Davis. Now to Wagner. Wagner inside, outside. Brooks dribbles to the lane, puts it up off the high glass. No, Davis the rebound, and he'll draw a foul. Seemed like he could have kicked it out to Livers or Wagner. The one saving grace for Michigan in this half, where they've played so poorly, are the 6 offensive rebounds. Now 7 with that one for Davis, but now Davis steps to the free throw line, and he's only a 50% free throw shooter on the season. He'll get 2 shots right here. First free throw hits the back iron, rims around and down. Mike Smith comes out onto the floor and says something to Shawnee Brown. Now Davis will step back to the line for his second. And Davis makes them both. So Maryland now will inbound the ball. Michigan's going to go with more of a full court press, trying to force some turnovers, throw Maryland out of offensive rhythm. Now they come up the floor, able to break through the press. They'll set the offense up. They bring a man off a screen. Here's an open look from 3, and he knocks it down. That's Jarius Hamilton, a 41% three-point shooter. Maryland now up to 3 for 7 from 3, and they've got the lead back to 9. Their largest lead in this game was 9 earlier in the contest, so they have equaled that. Brown, runner through the lane, and it drops 26-19 back to 7. 7 minutes even remaining in the first half.
Just draining threes and getting great offensive movement out there by Maryland. Michigan has got to pick it up.
Brooks watching the ball handler, Ayala. They brought Hamilton onto the floor. He screens Brooks. Brooks stays with Ayala to the lane, puts it up and puts it in off the window. And Maryland now continues to just shoot scorchingly from the field. 11 of 16 total in the game, and they've only missed 1-2 in this contest. Smith to the rack, lays it in. Little underhanded scoop off the high glass, and then trims it back to 7. But Michigan's got to play some defense here. Maryland's made their last 5 field goals. Ayala with the ball, standing on that Big Ten logo. Gets the screen, step back 3. He knocks it down. Eric Ayala has heated up And Maryland cannot miss right now, shooting 71% from the field. They've made their last 6. And they lead now by their largest margin of the game, which is 10. Sean D. Brown open for 3. He knocks it down. Sean D. Brown, the only Wolverine who can hit from distance, is 2 for 2 in this first half. Every other Wolverine 0 for 9. And Brown is keeping Michigan in this game. Now they got another open look. Jarris Hamilton from 3, and he knocks it down. Jarris Hamilton is left wide open in the corner. Michigan's defense is discombobulated. 34-24 the score, turning into an offensive shootout at the moment. Still Maryland's largest lead of the game. Smith dribbles around. He's going to dribble baseline. Waits, trying to find Davis. Can't quite get it to him. Now he grabs it. Davis kick out. Brooks, Wagner to the corner. Back out. Brooks wing open from 3. That one a little short. Tipped around out of bounds off the Wolverines. Maryland will take over.
Just again, on a closeout, they take the first semi-open 3 they can. They took just too hasty with the ball. They got to get better at ball movement out there. Maryland is playing excellent defense.
And you see that last make by Hamilton. He was wide open in the corner within 5 seconds of the possession beginning. Right now, Michigan just playing extremely poorly on the defensive side of the ball, allowing Maryland to shoot 72%. Maryland getting too many open looks, and they're making almost all of them. Ayala with the ball, dribbles inside. Brooks stays with him. Ayala to the rack, lays it up and lays it in.
Real.
Brandon Johns will inbound it in. They've taken Davis off the floor, going small, and Mike Smith comes up. Another timeout. That's Howard's second, and it definitely feels like a danger moment for Michigan here in this first half. 4:38 to go in the first half.
No, the game is getting away from them at the moment. You have to imagine they're going to be talking about their physicality and effort on defense. That seems to be the big issue for Michigan right now, just letting anyone get any shot they want and being able to drain anything.
And now it is a big, big timeout at the moment for this Michigan basketball team, trailing by 12, 36-24, and we're now up to 8 for the last 8 makes for the Maryland offense against the Michigan defense.
Wow.
4:38 to go in this first half, and it definitely feels like a really big juncture in this ball game.
Yeah,
I mean, Michigan can get it down to 5-7, something like that. They are in a very solid spot to compete in the second half. But if this stretches to 15, 18, 20, the game may be over at halftime. So
yeah,
Michigan's got to close this half out well. But again, it starts with getting some stops.
At the end of the day, you just got to get the ball to their best players. Sean D is being the best hand right now. You have to find a way to get him an open 3.
Smith starts the offense, dribbles around with it, finds Wagner. Back across to Smith, and he'll dribble inside. Baseline, cross Wagner, now Sean D. Brown. Brandon Johns. Johns face up to the basket. 5 on the shot clock already. Johns inside, puts it up. Count it! Brandon Johns puts that shot up, and it goes.
Tough basket. That's what you want to see, that nothing is going to get in the way of Brandon Johns and the rim. The effort's fantastic. I mean, that was a circus shot right there, though.
Powering through that shot, and he's an 82% free throw shooter this season. Not on very high volume, though. And all we're talking about Maryland's offense, Michigan's now made 4 of their last 5 from the field. They continue to play well offensively in the last few minutes, but the defense has been the issue. Johns knocks that one down, and the lead is trimmed down to 9. That's the beginning of a run Michigan wants, but again, it all starts on the defensive side as Ayala will dribble the ball up. Ayala and Hart have played a lot of this first half so far. Ayala across to Hart. He dribbles in the paint, puts it up, no. Rebound off the mark, and Michigan comes down with it. Mike Smith comes up the floor. He's dribbling into the paint, dribbles around, now retreats to the perimeter. 3:50 to go in the first half. 9-point Maryland lead, 36-27. Terrapins on top. Mike Smith dribbles in the lane, and he'll kick to Johns. Lays it up and lays. Nice little jump pass by Mike Smith. That's a quick 5-0 run by Michigan, and Mark Turgeon will counter with the timeout.
What a pass. Oh, my Lord. That was beautiful. Wow.
Well, Smith ran into trouble there at the free throw line. Looked like he was going to go up for a shot. I think he might have been going up for a shot, but then he decided to pass it to Johns, who was rolling to the basket. We already saw on the Jumbotron earlier the Michigan alumni graphic. Now we have the Maryland alumni graphic. Of course, their most famous in sports media, Scott Van Pelt, has been very involved with the University of Maryland's journalism program, as well as Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google. That's something that these two schools have in common. They account for the two co-founders of Google, Michigan and Larry Page, and Maryland and Sergey Brin. And
Larry David. Wow, I did not know he went to Maryland.
And see if learn something new every day. Jim Henson, creator of the Muppets, also
what a weird alumni group
featured on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, it looks like I would take Maryland's collection of Larry David, Jim Henson, and Scott Van Pelt over Lucy Liu, James Earl Jones, and Tom Brady any day.
3:37 to go in this first half. And Maryland sitting down and having a conversation. The Terps have made 8 of their last 10 from the field, but they finally were stopped on that last Michigan defensive possession, and now Wolverines huddling up, the Terps huddling up. And Brandon Johns with the last 5 points for Michigan have brought the Wolverines a little bit back into this game. Isaiah Livers has not scored for Michigan, and Eli Brooks hasn't either. He's 0 for 6 from the field, and it definitely seems like Brooks has been affected by that ankle injury to some extent. Just doesn't look quite the same, and he's being attacked defensively.
You have to imagine. Isaiah Livers has been the key to Michigan's offense all day. He's just been unable to make anything happen.
Livers 0 for 4, Brooks 0 for 6, and those two combine for 10 of Michigan's 15 misses. Everyone else has shot it okay from the field. Wagner 2 of 5, Brown 3 of 3, Smith 2 of 4, Davis 2 of 2, Johns 2 of 2, Dickinson 1 of 1. But those key wings of Brooks and Livers haven't been able to get it going at the moment. And we take a look at the 2021 Big Ten champions. Michigan State won women's cross country. Maryland won women's basketball. Featuring some of the other sports here at the Big Ten men's basketball tournament. Michigan 5 of their last 6 makes from the field. Maryland 8 of their last 10. Very offensive first half at the moment. And Michigan's now up to 44% from the field. But again, the big difference, Maryland 56% from 3, Michigan 17% from 3. And Michigan, again, a lot of those have been decently open makes. Or open looks, rather. And again, if Michigan was just closer to their season average, they could be in the lead or tied. 3-point shooting has been one of the biggest differences in this game at the moment.
I mean, Maryland just has been making 3 after 3 after 3 after 3, rarely missing. There was that one run where it was 4 in a row. You got to imagine, but Michigan just got to get more effort on defense at that point.
And Michigan shot the 3 ball really well in their 2 games against Maryland during the regular season, but have been cold today. Ayala comes up the floor, across center court. Gets the screen from Hamilton. John switched off Hamilton. Hamilton pump fake in the lane. He lost it, though. Ball is loose, and it's going to be a held ball, which will stay with Maryland, but now the possession arrow will flip to Michigan so that they would start the second half with the ball potentially.
I mean, that was just a clear mishandle. That was a clear lane. He got on the pump fake and just lost the ball on the dribble.
Hamilton had a lane to the basket and then coughed it up on the drive. 15 on the shot clock. He'll have Hart do the inbound from the baseline. And he throws it in. Wiggins, guarded by Shawnee Brown, now 10 on the shot clock. Screen from Hamilton. Now they lose Hamilton again, Still guarded by Johns. Kicks it out. Ayala's going to have to make something happen. 3 on the shot clock. Brown tips it away. Out of bounds. Now 1 on the shot clock. It'll stay with Maryland, but they're just going to have to jack up a 3 right off the inbound.
Shawnee punched that thing out of bounds. Oh, my Lord.
Michigan really competing defensively on this possession. Active hands. And they're just going to throw it up for a tip drill, and that'll be a shot clock violation as Shawnee Brown snuffed it out. Playing cornerback right there, knocking the ball away. And Wagner will inbound it. Michigan takes over. A chance to trim it down to 4 or 5 on this possession. Brooks comes up the floor, gives it to Mike Smith. Gets the screen from Johns, across to Wagner. Wagner waits with it, back to Smith, back to Wagner. 15 on the shot clock, back to Smith. Pull up from 3, pump fake. Brooks, corner, three-pointer, and it goes! Eli Brooks finally makes one, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game. Michigan on a quick 8-0 run out of that previous Howard timeout. 2:35 to go in the first half. Big juncture here now for the Terps. Ayala across to Scott. They got it outside Wiggins. Spin move in the lane, puts it up, and he puts it in. What a finish there from Aaron Wiggins. Lead back to 6. Smith up, Johns, corner. He's going to dribble baseline. Brandon Johns, reverse layup. Are you kidding me? Brandon Johns doesn't dribble drive much, but that was an acrobatic finish from the big man.
Used his height to his advantage.
2:05 to go. Wiggins, and that was tripped by Mike. Gets his hand in there. Mike Smith off to the races, lays it up, and it's swatted. Brooks grabs the rebound, though. Back to Smith in the corner. Michigan can set up this possession. The length there from the Maryland defenders got back and snuffed that one out. They kick it around. Wagner in the corner. Going to dribble in the paint. Running hard, and it goes.
That is an NBA runner right there. Oh, my
Franz Wagner with the acrobatic length, and now in the final 90 seconds of the first half, it's suddenly a 2-point game. Maryland 38, Michigan 36. Michigan has erased 10 points off the Maryland edge in the last 2:35 of this contest. Ayala dribbles into the chest of John. Step back jumper, that's off the mark. Wagner the rebound, and Michigan's got a chance to tie all of a sudden. Coming up the floor. Wagner across to Smith. They're going to slow this one down. Brandon Johns as a small ball 5 at the center position has been magnificent for the Wolverines. Smith just holding it and gets some play calls from Juwan Howard. Screen from Johns. 5 on the shot clock. Smith dribbles inside, puts it up. Off the window, no, but he'll get 2 free throws and a chance to tie this ball game with 48.6 to go in the first half.
Great execution there from Juwan Howard. Gets this possible 2-for-1 opportunity and gets Mike Smith, their best free throw shooter, to the line.
Smith, a 79% free throw shooter, will step to the stripe. Michigan in this game, 3 for 3. Austin Davis with 2 of Michigan's makes. Smith steps up there and he swishes the first. 38-37, Terps on top. And Smith goes up with the second, and he swishes them both. Michigan has tied the game. A 14-2 run over the last 3.5 minutes of this half. Maryland now with the ball, flips it around. Hakeem Hart comes up the floor. As you mentioned, potential 2-for-1. They got a man open. It's Scott, but looked like he had a lane to the basket, passed it up. Now they have Ayala with the ball in the lane, and they're going to say Michigan reached in before the bucket, or for the attempt. That'll be a foul on the floor. Neither team in the bonus. Neither team terribly close. That resets the shot clock to 20, but Michigan will still have a chance for a 2-for-1 if they can allow another possession. Not sure who they're going to call that foul on. I guess Shawnee Brown picks it up.
I think it might be.
Yeah, Brown is the official label.
Okay.
Maryland inbounds it in. Ayala will hold the ball. 15 on the shot clock. 25 on the game clock. Backing in on Brooks, kicks it out. Wiggins, pull up from 3 over Brown. That one way off the mark. Wagner the rebound. Michigan can take the lead on the final possession of the first half. 15 seconds left. Shot clock is turned off. Wolverines will hold it for the final shot. They'll also have the ball to begin the second half. Smith with the ball, dribbles around his man, underneath, finds Wagner, lays it up and lays it in. 2 seconds, 1, and a heave at half court. will go wide, and Michigan takes a 40-38 lead into halftime, a 16-2 run over the final 4 minutes and 15 seconds of that first half. Unbelievable.
Wow. You would have told me after Maryland made 5 straight threes in a row that Michigan would end the half leading. I would have told you were crazy. What a run by the Michigan Wolverines right there.
And Michigan, I mean, we were talking about it when Howard took that timeout. It was a 12-point Maryland lead with 4:45 to go in the first half. And we were saying if Michigan could get it within 5 or 7, they'd be in a good spot for the second half. They erased the entire deficit and go into the halftime with the lead.
That is one of the most insane runs I've seen ever. Maryland completely lost all their momentum, all their ability to make threes, and just started jacking up anything they could find. It really felt like a reversal of fortune for both teams.
And now we'll just go over the stats quickly, and then we'll take a small halftime break. Maryland, Ayala leads with 10. Brown leads Michigan with 8, and Wagner tied with 8. Johns was 7. He was absolutely huge for Michigan in that first half. Donta Scott was 7, and Daryl Morcell was 7 for the Terps. Michigan ends up shooting somehow 50% from the field in that half. Maryland shoots 63%. Wolverines will come out with a lead and the ball. 40-38 will be the score. We will be back to bring you the second half in about 10 minutes' time. You're listening to Michigan Basketball on WCBN Sports. Welcome back now to the second half of action between Michigan and Maryland here at the 2021 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament. Michigan Wolverines are the number 1 seed in this event, and they are taking on the number 8 seeded Maryland Terrapins. Very interesting first half, ends with it score Michigan 40, Maryland 38. Quick half recap. Maryland came out pretty hot, had a early 9-point lead. Michigan trimmed it to within a couple, but then Maryland extended it back up, and it got all the way to 12 at one point with 4:45 to go in the first half, and then Michigan ended that half on a furious run down the stretch. They outscored Maryland 16-2 in the final about 3.5 minutes. Played much better defense in that stretch, got some good offense, and they lead by 2 here, getting ready for the second half. Michigan shoots 50% from the field, 23% from 3. Maryland shoots a scorching 62.5% from the field, 50% from 3, yet find themselves trailing in this game, in part because of offensive rebounds. Michigan with 7 of those to Maryland's 1, and that one was a tip attempt. Both teams assist 10 times, but Michigan 3 steals. A big story. Maryland also turned it over 5 times to Michigan's 3, and the Wolverines led 7-4 in points off of turnovers. Eric Ayala led the Terps with 10 points. Shaundi Brown and Franz Wagner tied with 8 to lead the Wolverines. I'm Alex Dreen, joined by Andrew Miller. And
yes, sir.
What are you looking for in the second half?
More of the same, more bench rotation, better ball movement from Michigan. You know, the Michigan's been willing to take shots and not being afraid, but they still got to get open shots in the first place. Michigan was on a great run, played better defense. Now I just want to see better ball movement out there.
Yeah, Maryland's length and their athleticism on their wing defenders definitely denied Michigan some of the ball movement the Wolverines looked for. Michigan did shoot 2 for 3 in their final 3 3-point attempts of the half after starting 1 for 10. Shaundi Brown's got 2 of Michigan's 3 makes from distance. Eli Brooks, one of the storylines in this game after dealing with that ankle injury he sustained against Michigan State on Sunday, is playing in this game, has struggled in the first half, but he did make his last field goal attempt, which was a 3-pointer in the late stages of that first half. Otherwise, he missed his other 6 shots from the field. 4 of those were from 3. His defense has looked all right. The other big story of that half, Hunter Dickinson, who unfortunately for Michigan was only able to play 6 minutes. He played a few minutes early, then got taken on to the bench. Then he came back out and picked up 2 fouls in about a 3-minute span, and he was auto-benched for the remainder of the first half. The first foul seemed to be legitimate on a play where Donta Scott was dropped to the floor, but the second was on a moving screen that really did not seem to be a justified call. But regardless, Michigan was without Dickinson for the final 9 minutes. Davis really struggled defensively. They brought Johns in, and he was the difference maker for Michigan in that first half. But we'll see if what Dickinson can do here in this second half, playing with 2 fouls. And obviously very frustrating that both were picked up on the offensive end. Wolverines seem to miss having a rim protector like Dickinson, and obviously his height advantage and post ability will be key. They struggled to get the ball into the post in that first half. Only post opportunities really came off of offensive rebounds.
No, and this is especially crucial when you're playing a team like Maryland that loves to get you outside and make you cover the whole wing. You gotta get those big guys out there. I think you might actually see some Twin Towers action this time for the first time in Michigan history, or maybe just Brandon Johns, who had probably the best half of his Michigan career.
Well, and certainly Michigan's got a height advantage. Dickinson listed at 7'1". Maryland center Galen Smith 6'9", but Smith doesn't even play center half the time. In that first half, he only played 6 minutes. They were running with Donta Scott and Jarris Hamilton at the 5. Those guys 6'7", 6'8". That's nearly a half-foot height advantage that Dickinson will have over them in this second half. Dickinson did finish 1 for 1 from the field, made his only bucket. It was a 2-point putback. Michigan 40, Maryland 38. Wolverines getting ready to start this second half in their home whites. They are the designated home team for the remainder of this tournament because they're the number 1 seed. Well, flip ends. Michigan will start with the rock. They won the opening tip-off, but a held ball flipped the possession arrow back to the Wolverines during that half. Maryland huddling up, still deep in conversation. Michigan has broken their huddle, and the players are standing at their positions ready to go. I have to think it was an interesting halftime there with Mark Turgeon.
You have to imagine
what he told his team after they crashed into the halftime break like the Hindenburg going down in New Jersey. Not a great end of the half there for the Terps.
No, not at all. Probably one of the worst endings I've ever seen. Just completely blowing away what seemed at one moment like an insurmountable lead, and gave away all the momentum. You have to imagine they're really jazzed to get back into this game.
Franz Wagner will do the inbound to Mike Smith. Maryland will come out to begin this half with what appears to be their starting lineup. Yep, Ayala, Wiggins, Morcell, Scott, and Hart. Michigan, their starting lineup as well. Smith, Brooks, Dickinson, Wagner, and Livers. Isaiah Livers with it outside, back to Wagner, just passing around the perimeter. I think they're trying to get it into Dickinson, and now we're going to have a foul. Or might have been actually I think it was violation in the lane on Dickinson, trying to establish post position, and they're going to hit him with a turnover, but at the very least better than a foul. Ayala passes it around, Wiggins outside, they go on the baseline, Morcell, and he goes up and under on Wagner, lays it up and lays it in. That'll tie the game at 40. Wagner into Smith. Smith will dribble up the floor, but that's another turnover on that previous possession on Dickinson, just really struggling to get going. They find Eli Brooks with the ball on the baseline, kicks it out. Wagner had an open look for a moment, hesitated. Now inside, Dickinson right there, powering off the glass. Hunter Dickinson finishing through contact, puts Michigan back on top by 2.
That's a man knowing his own size, being willing to wait until the last second off his jump to make that shot.
Now they've got Dickinson in the paint. Michigan kind of going with a bit of a zone look. Now an open 3, and that one for Wiggins, rims around and out. Tipped out of bounds. They say off Michigan. Not sure about that call, but it'll stay with the Terps.
It looked to me to be a little bit off Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah, definitely contest there on the baseline. Both fan bases jumping up thinking they had it. Those marginal calls. Inbound will come from the baseline to Wiggins. Flips it around. Ayala from way downtown, and he puts that one off the heel. Not necessarily the look Mark Turgeon was looking for on that possession. Smith gets the screen, dribbles in the lane. Now he's going to reverse, gets another screen from Dickinson, puts up a little floater, rims around and out, tipped around. Smith gets his own rebound. Mike Smith putting himself in position. Michigan continues to use the offensive glass well. That's now their 8th offensive rebound. They lead by 2, 42-40, almost 2 minutes gone here in the second half. Livers to Dickinson. Smith comes around. They give it to him. He gets another nice screen. Smith contested jumper, and he makes it just inside the free throw line. Falling forward jumper, and now Juwan Howard is yelling something. I'm not sure if to his team or to the referees. But Michigan now with a 4-point lead. That's their largest of the contest. Hakeem Hart across to Wiggins. Dribbling inside. Nice bounce pass underneath, and that's a good finish from Daryl Morcell. Split the zone right open. Good feed. And Howard calling to his players. Smith comes up the floor. Waits with it. Dribbles back out. Gets it across to Brooks. Now Livers. Livers will dribble baseline. Good defense there from Aaron Wiggins. Flips it inside. Dickinson right there. Lays it up and lays it in.
Wow.
Using the height right now. Hunter Dickinson is starting to heat up back-to-back buckets. Actually, 2 in the last 3 buckets, rather, for Michigan. He's now got 6 in the contest, and he's made all 3 shots.
Great patience by Hunter Dickinson just to get in open in the right amount of time.
They pass around with it. Hart, they got Wiggins open for 3. That's a good look, and it rims around and out. Maryland's gone cold from distance right now, and Michigan with the 4-point lead can extend it. They find Eli Brooks. Gets a little bit of space. Now he waits. They find Dickinson. Backing in on Donta Scott. Puts it up. No. And just a little strong off the heel. Not the best look for Dickinson. Across, they've got Wiggins open again. Now they find Donta Scott. He's open for 3. And Maryland now just not really penetrating much, just standing outside and bombing from 3 None of them are going down right now. Smith, open look from three. And Michigan now leads by 7, their largest lead of the game. I think Turgeon's going to call a timeout once they get across half court.
Going for the jugular right there.
This Michigan crowd, definitely the majority in the building right now, and they are fired up.
No, after a team that built their lead off three-point shooting and can't seem to buy a shot in the second half, Mike Smith in a dagger in someone's face, rubbing it in the Maryland Terrapins face. You got to imagine that feels pretty good for the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, the law of averages is powerful, and Michigan was shooting way below their average in the first half. Maryland was shooting way above their average, and things have now come back to equilibrium, and that gives Michigan a 7-point lead. And suddenly, after Michigan was once in the 30% from the field and Maryland was over 70% from the field, they are now almost even from the field and almost even from three now. Hard to believe that, but we mentioned that in the first half, that if Michigan was shooting their average, they would be tied or leading. They're now starting to come close to shooting their average from three, and they now have a 7-point lead, their largest of the contest. And if you go back to that first half where Maryland at one time had a 12-point lead, this is a 19-point Michigan run in the aggregate to erase that lead. Go back to see what the lead was. It was 36-24 Maryland, so total it up. That is a 25-6 Michigan run spanning about 7.5 minutes. There's one upside for Mark Turgeon in the Terrapins. It's that there's still a lot of time to go in this game. 16-20 is a eternity, and a 7-point lead is not very large in the grand scheme of things. We just saw how quickly Michigan was able to erase a 12-point deficit.
Yeah. It's incredible what Michigan is able to accomplish recently with their runs. Terrapins probably have they're looking like they're bamboozled out there, just spinning directionless.
Well, if we look at the bracket breakdown, Maryland is a projected 11 seed on the bracket matrix right now. They are in the sort of dangerous last few teams in, alongside Michigan State, who they beat yesterday. Those two teams will be going into Selection Sunday very nervous, but both seem to be on the right side of the bubble at the moment. Maryland is on 126 brackets of 127 that the bracket matrix has compiled. So they're in the field according to basically everybody, but very tenuous, and a loss to Michigan obviously wouldn't boost their resume whatsoever. It also wouldn't hurt them, though.
No, not at all.
Losing to a projected number 1 seed, I don't think will detract much of anything, but their fate is in the hands of the committee right now. If they can come back and win this game, as we mentioned earlier, adding that quad 1A type victory would almost certainly lock up their trip to the NCAA tournament.
No, they want to be the Georgetown of the Big Ten.
Yeah,
Georgetown guaranteed their spot in the tournament just by beating Villanova last night.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, I would say so.
The Hoyas into the semifinals of the Big East tournament. Maryland will have the ball out of the timeout, which was taken by Turgeon. Both teams now have 2 team timeouts remaining, and of course plenty of media timeouts to go. We haven't even hit the under 16 first media timeout of the second half. Donta Scott with it outside, passes across Daryl Morcell into the corner. Another 3 attempt, and it's off the mark. Eli Brooks the rebound. Maryland is just going to keep shooting from 3, and they just keep missing right now.
That ankle doesn't look too bad from Eli, though.
Yeah, that was a very spry rebound. Livers across to Brooks, back to Livers. Maryland looks like they've come up with a different defensive alignment. Cross Wagner, dribbles inside, puts it up off the rack and in. Nice layup.
Smooth right there.
And Wagner stretches the Michigan lead to 9, 51-42. Wolverines on top. 15:40 remaining in the second half. Maryland's got to penetrate and get inside. Michigan playing that zone. They're just daring Maryland to shoot. And the Terps have gone ice cold from distance. Scott's got a height advantage on Brooks, but he passes it across to Wiggins. He's got a height advantage on Mike Smith. Inside, up and under, and he misses an easy layup. Gets his own rebound, though. Misses that one, too. And Livers comes down with it. Jeez Louise. Michigan playing good D, and Maryland again has gone cold. Brooks underneath, kicks around. Livers open from 3. He left that one a little short. this place was going to explode if that one had gone down. You could hear an audible, oh.
Just a little too open right there.
Livers is still cold from the perimeter. Now Maryland kicking it around. There's an open three. That one off the mark.
Wow.
Good offensive rebound, though, from Daryl Morcell. Keeps the possession alive. Terps have missed their last 5 field goals, almost all of them from 3. One of their last 8 overall, and they throw that one away. Geez, Daryl Morcell put that pass over the head of Aaron Wiggins in the corner, and it'll go back to Michigan with a 9-point advantage, and we hit another media stoppage.
Unreal. That was it's just piss poor for the Terrapins right now. Not making any other open threes. They live and die by it. If you're not making those threes, you're not making a tournament.
Well, and let's revisit our stat from earlier in the broadcast. Maryland is 11-2 when the opponent shoots below 30% from 3. Michigan's actually just below 30%. They're hovering right around that mark at 27% right now. Maryland is 11-3 when they go over 35% from 3. They've now dropped below that threshold, so therein lies the danger. And the Terps overall have just scored 4 points in the first 5 minutes of this half. Michigan 11-4 run to begin the second half, a 7-0 run in the last 2:40. Maryland 0 for their last 6 from the field, 1 for their last 9, and they haven't scored in over 3 minutes.
It's not looking good for the Maryland Terrapins. They had their one big run early on. They really need to keep that momentum going.
Looking at our YouTube live chat, quite a few Go Blue comments in the chat as well. One of those from a person whose username is John Cena, but I don't imagine it's that John Cena. If it is, thank you for listening. But we are here, as mentioned previously, in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, for the 2021 men's basketball tournament for the Big Ten Conference. Just a few days before Selection Sunday. The games coming up after this one will be Purdue and Ohio State. The winner of that game will face the winner of this one. And then in the night session, Illinois and Rutgers, as well as Iowa and Wisconsin. The Iowa-Wisconsin game will watch. Badgers the 6th seed, Hawkeyes the 3 seed. They just played last weekend. And obviously everyone wondering if the 1 and 2 seeds, Michigan and Illinois, will do battle in the championship. That would be a rematch of the game last week, and a lot of bad blood between the two fan bases right now. That would definitely be a compelling championship on Sunday, but a lot of basketball to be played before then, including this one. Michigan cannot look ahead yet. Still 14 minutes and 42 seconds remaining here in the contest. The event staff for this tournament are really dressed up. They are wearing maroon dress coats and sort of charcoal slacks and a tie. Feels very ritzy compared to the feel at a lot of stadiums.
Yeah, yes, it does a little.
Brooks will do the inbound from the baseline to Mike Smith, and he'll dribble up the floor. Hands it off to Hunter Dickinson, gives it to Wagner, and they say Wagner traveled.
No, he did not. I don't think so.
I don't know. Wagner definitely looks confused, and Juwan Howard does as well. Might have, I don't know, he was coming around the corner there off the Dickinson screen. Regardless, that's a Michigan turnover.
Yeah.
Answering Maryland's turnover on that previous possession. Wiggins with the ball. Terps just trying to find some of them. They pass it around inside to the lane, puts it up, counted, and a foul. Nice finish there from Daryl Morcell at the rack, and a chance for a three-point play to try and kickstart the Terrapins back into this contest. Foul will go on Wagner, his first.
First real drive of the half, out for a 3.
With the lineup coming, he's only 55% from the line this season, but he made his only free throw in that first half, and he knocks this one down. Wagner will do the inbound to Smith. Michigan will come back up with it. Maryland finally snaps that 7-0 run. The nice three-point play. 51-45, Wolverines on top. Screen from Dickinson. Smith flips it up to Dickinson,
Oh.
and it ended up actually going on rim, and so Dickinson couldn't dunk it in. Now Morcell loses. I don't think so. It might. Not sure exactly what is being reviewed here, but Michigan with the ball. Shawnee Brown on the wing, and he throws that one away. Pass back to Smith, intercepted by Morcell, and now coming inside, powering his way for the layup, and he puts it in. We understand there may have been some connection issues with the internet connection. That's not our issue, but it does happen from time to time. But score at the moment, 51-47 Michigan, but now it's 54-47 as that three goes down for Eli Brooks on the kick out from Mike Smith. 12 minutes remaining in the second half. Pass around, now dribbling is Hamilton, back outside Ayala, across to Wiggins. Wiggins will dribble, pump fake on Smith, he's out of options, outside Hamilton. Had a height advantage over Brooks. Now Morcell will pull up from distance. He's not a very good three-point shooter, and he puts that one off the front iron. Brooks up to Mike Smith. $11:20 to go in the half and the contest. Davis is ready to check in. They've got Dickinson still out there. Now down to 9 on the shot clock. Wagner going to step back from three, and he puts it down.
Wow.
Franz Wagner knocks it down. That's now a 10-point Michigan lead, 57-47. Wiggins dribbles around with it, back outside to Morcell. Now Ayala. Wiggins, back to Ayala. Dared him to pull up from three. Back to Wiggins, his three-pointer off the front iron, tipped around.
Wow!
They say that one goes to Maryland, and I think a referee might be. They say it goes to Maryland.
Jawan is livid.
He is just screaming right now.
He was dancing around over there in his anger.
Well, at the moment it'll be Maryland's ball out of the timeout, 10:44. And now Mark Turgeon is screaming at Juwan Howard. They're going! The benches are emptying! Whoa!
Whoa!
The referees are now separating the coaches, and the players are being separated. Franz Wagner is yelling at someone from Maryland. Holy!
Oh my God! I've never seen this in my life.
Whoa! And now the the teams are being separated.
Well, that's going to be one interesting handshake at the end of the game, I'll tell you that much.
And I think the referees are going to have to. I think they're throwing Juwan Howard out of the game.
No way!
He's being separated. The assistants are having to hold him back, and now the fans are standing up and screaming. This is one of the strangest things I have ever seen.
What is going on?
Game. Juwan Howard has been ejected from the game, and all of the fans are standing up and screaming. And now the Michigan bench is trying to pump up their fans, but it appears Phil Martelli will be in charge the rest of the way. And the referees are trying to sort this one out.
Unbelievable. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Juwan Howard, you could tell, was just flipping angry out there, rolling around in anger, and I can't believe it escalated.
Well,
like
Juwan Howard had been going after the referees for a while about different calls, but I'm not sure how Mark Turgeon got involved in this game. But
I imagine Mark Turgeon was just trying to stop Juwan Howard, like he even must have felt annoyed or something, and just got involved, and that's what pushed Juwan Howard over the edge, was the other coach getting in his face.
Well, the referees are talking to the broadcasters on the baseline, the TV crew. And just to fill folks back in, it's a 57-47 Michigan lead. And we continue to try and figure out what's going on here.
I'm curious how the broadcast is looking. The live broadcast is showing this because they're
probably. Our understanding is that for those watching on television, they've been in a commercial break.
Exactly.
They don't know what's going on.
This has been insane. I'm curious when it's coming back. This has been one interesting day to say the least. Not to mention, it's a 10-point game.
Yeah, and there's still 10 minutes to play. I mean, this is wild.
This is wild. They just lost their head coach. It's going to be a fascinating turn of events. That's for sure.
And we continue to just wait to get an official word about what's going to happen.
Unbelievable. I mean, Juwan is out. No, is he back in? No, he's out. Is that Juwan?
No. He's been taken to the locker room.
That's what I thought.
And I believe both teams will get technical foul free throws.
Yeah, they're showing it on the live stream now. Oh, wow. Juwan had to be held back.
Yep. And I believe both coaches have been hit with technical fouls. So Maryland will get their technical foul free throws, and Ayala puts the first one off the heel. And the second one goes down.
Wow.
And I guess the only technical foul was on Howard, because now Maryland gets the ball. So there was just one coming out of that play, and now Ayala underneath misses the lay-in, so he goes 1 of 2 at the line. Now Michigan takes over, and they'll dribble up the court. Mike Smith comes up after that long interlude. Smith dribbles around. His shot is a little short. Tipped, and coming away with it is Wiggins. 57-48, Wolverines on top. Exactly just about halfway gone in the second half. Wiggins pull-up jumper, and it rattles around and down. And Smith comes up the floor. Smith waits, finds Wagner. Wagner dribbles inside to the rack, lays it up, and he just missed it. I mean, easy lay-in there, and he just couldn't rattle around. Now Wiggins up the floor, lays it up and lays it in, and that's a quick little 5-0 run for Maryland out of the timeout. Michigan's got to get their offensive flow back going, 57-52. Smith to Davis, around to Shawnee Brown. Now Wagner inside. A little baby hook falls a little short. Now Maryland a chance to trim it to a one-possession game as they come up the floor. Ayala dribbles around. He waits, kicks it out to Donta Scott. Now Hart to Ayala to Wiggins in the corner. Wiggins crossover, step back over Davis, and he misses that three. That would have been an incredible shot.
I know, right?
Approaching 9 minutes remaining in the game. Smith comes up the floor, gets his screen from Davis, and his free throw line jumper off the mark. Davis tips it around. Smith gets the rebound, though. Another big offensive board for Michigan to keep this possession going. Wolverines haven't scored in 2 minutes or since the altercation in that timeout. Brooks, three-pointer from the corner. He knocks it down. Eli Brooks, another three, and he is heating up. Looks okay to me. 3 of 7 now from three-point range.
Unreal.
And the lead is back to 8.
He is insane out there.
Ayala across Wiggins, back to Ayala. His three-pointer puts it off the heel. Davis the rebound. Maryland can't buy a three right now. And Smith comes up the floor with it. And Brooks dribbles baseline, underhanded scoop, and it goes down. Michigan's 10-point lead back intact. 8:10 to go in the game. 8:05 now as Maryland sets up their next possession. They get it into Scott. He's at the elbow, backing in on Sean D. Brown. Donta Scott waits and gets some help, kicks it out. Hakeem Hart back outside Scott. He's got a big height advantage over Smith. 8 on the shot clock. He's going to dribble around Wiggins, 3 from way outside, and that one pops out. Maryland is now 5 of 21 from 3.
Wow.
Brooks to Smith. Michigan can get to their largest lead of the game if they can score on this possession. 62-52 Wolverines, 7:33 to go in the contest. Smith across Wagner, pull up 3. He knocks it down! Franz Wagner from the wing and a timeout Maryland.
Dickinson is
Dickinson
on the
was
bench.
laying on the floor ready to check in, and he was now jumping up and screaming. And
they're playing for their head coach right now is what it feels like. They are just as mad as he is.
Well, a quick 8-0 run for Michigan after Maryland was on a 5-0 run has got the Wolverine lead up to 12. And we've been told that Phil Martelli is indeed the head coach for Michigan the remainder of this game. Obviously, Sadie Washington will be helping out with that task as well, as will Howard Isley, the 3 assistants for Michigan. Turgeon is still in the game, so for those who were a little confused there were 2 technicals issued on Howard, which led to his ejection.
There were 2, one for the refs and one for Turgeon?
Yeah, so Howard got 1 for going after the refs, and then Turgeon and Howard got matching technicals each. And so in total, that's 2 on Howard, 1 on Turgeon. That's why Howard had to leave the game, is at least how we have understood it to be. Michigan 65, Maryland 52. Terps haven't scored in 2 minutes and 28 seconds. One of the strangest things that we have ever seen unfolding just a few minutes ago. The 2 coaches. For those who may have just joined us, the reason Juwan Howard was angry is that there's been a few calls over the course of this game, one of which being a moving screen on Hunter Dickinson in the first half,
yes,
a travel on Franz Wagner early in this half, but really it was 2 out-of-bounds plays where the balls seemed to deflect off of Maryland players' hands and go out of bounds. And in both cases, the referees gave the ball to Maryland, and it definitely was building for a while. Howard was increasingly aggravated and was increasingly talking with the referees, and it definitely felt like he was going to get slapped with a tee at some point. But then what was the bizarre thing that happened is that while he was going at the ref, Mark Turgeon came running from his bench and jumped in the fray, and I don't know why he thought that debate concerned him.
I think it was one of those things. Like, I assume that Turgeon went over there and was like, please stop complaining. Because, like, classic basketball competitiveness.
Yeah.
And then Juwan was, like, insulted and just went at him because he was already all amped up.
And then once the 2 coaches started going at each other, the players, then, the benches emptied. And then all of a sudden, it escalated from there, and it took the referees a little bit to get this game back under control. Maryland is 5 for 21 from 3, and I believe they were 5 of 9 at one point, which would mean they've missed their last 12 3-point attempts, which is just wild, and they now are shooting worse than Michigan from the field. Michigan's up to 40% from 3. They've made 7 of their last 10 from distance, and they're now over that 35% or 30% threshold that Maryland doesn't do well when their opponent shoots better than 30% from 3. They don't do well when they shoot less than 35% from 3. And both those things are true right now. That's partially why the Terps find themselves in a 13-point hole with 7:21 to go in the game. We thank you all for joining us here on WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan basketball. Daryl Morcell with the rock outside across to Donta Scott. Now they got an open look for 3, and that one goes down. Finally, the Maryland Terrapins make a three. Eric Ayala knocks one in, and it's back to 10. Dickinson back out onto the floor. And
wow,
we got an offensive foul on Hunter Dickinson.
Imagine if Jawan was out there right now.
I don't know. We'll have to see the replay about that. But what's been odd about these offensive fouls on Dickinson is they happen within 2 or 3 seconds of the possession beginning.
Yeah.
Normally it's the first screen he sets, he's getting hit. That's now his third foul. We'll see how Phil Martelli approaches the foul trouble situation. Donta Scott with the ball, dribbles, kicks it back out. Wiggins goes around his screen. Now he's got Scott open for a pick and pop. Instead, he dribbles inside. Jarris Hamilton three. He makes that one, and Maryland finally has gotten their three-point shooters waking up. That's a quick 6-0 Maryland run over the last 30 seconds. Mike Smith will come back into this game. Dickinson gets a screen set. Brooks dribbles inside, off-balance floater, and he missed everything there, put it off the backboard. Now Maryland a chance to trim this back within 5. Wiggins up, Scott pump fake from 3. Now he'll kick it back out. Ayala guarded by Brooks. 6:12 remaining in the game. Ayala inside, and they're going to get a foul underneath. And the Michigan crowd is aggravated at the moment.
As it should be. There's just been a lot of odd calls on Michigan all day.
That one definitely seemed a bit more justified, and that'll put Ayala at the line. He's 1 for 2 today. A very good free throw shooter at 84%. And he makes that one. And it's now a 7-0 Maryland run. Give credit to the Terps. They are not going away right now. They are battling hard, and they've trimmed this lead back down to 6 after it was previously in that sort of danger zone when it was up to 13. Mike Smith is checked back into the game. Livers off the floor right now. That second one pops out, and Ayala now 2 for 4 for an 84% shooter at the line today. Michigan needs a make here and to snap this 7-0 run. Brown with it on the wing, across to Wagner. Back to Brown. Back to Wagner. Gets the screen from Dickinson. Now 8 on the shot clock. They get it outside to Brooks. Pump fake, back to Wagner. 2 on the shot clock. Underneath, Eli Brooks. Reverse lay-in off the glass underneath. And Eli Brooks, after coming out cold, has really started to find his touch in this game, and Michigan has needed his offense in this second half.
They needed that shot because they're about to go into a cold streak if not for that.
Scott across Ayala. Michigan still zoning up the Terps. Now Scott, nice give and go pass, and Ayala lays it up and lays it in. A really nice passing play there to trim the lead back to 6, 67-61. Maryland's made 3 of their last 3 from the field. Michigan's 4 of their last 5 as we approach the final 5 minutes of this contest. 67-61. Smith across. Shawnee Brown pump fake. Dribbles inside. Puts it off the high glass, and he puts it in. Nice play there from Shawnee Brown, who's been excellent for Michigan today. And now Hunter Dickinson is talking with the referees, and the Maryland players are being separated from the Michigan players. This is...
Wow.
Huh. Now they're going to do the inbound. Just give everyone some warnings, as this game really feels like a volcano potentially erupting if the referees cannot get this game under control.
This does feel like Michigan versus the referees at this point.
Morcell outside. Ayala from 3 off the mark. Dickinson the rebound. Up to Wagner. Wagner to Smith. 8-point Michigan edge. 4:30 to go. Smith to Brooks. And they're going to go to Dickinson, but they have a reach-in foul as he was being hooked. Foul will go on Wiggins. Or no, they'll give it to Hamilton. Team third. Michigan 5 team fouls. Maryland 3 team fouls. Nobody close to the bonus. We didn't hit the bonus in the first half. Wagner to Brooks. Brooks to Dickinson. Dickinson to Brown. Brown underneath. His shot just a little soft. 4:15 to go in the game. Dribbles underneath Ayala. Missed his own shot, but got his own rebound. Outside, Donta Scott. His three-pointer rims around and out. Maryland just cannot make threes in this second half.
No, they cannot, but
2 makes total in this half on a lot of attempts.
This is a far cry from that 5 straight three-point barrage they let Michigan have.
Brown across to Wagner. Michigan with an 8-point lead can stretch it to 10 or 11 with a make here. Smith to Wagner. Back to Smith. Smith draws a double team, dribbles around, step out, three-pointer. He knocks it down! Mike Smith, step back 3, and with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this game, Maryland is in some trouble now.
That is the dagger 3 of the night right there. Crosses him up and gets it in.
Now Morcell on the baseline. Bumped by Dickinson, stays with it. Reverse lay-in off the heel. Brown the rebound down. Michigan 11-point lead and the rock. A lot of trouble now for Maryland. If Michigan can get a make here, that may be the contest. Maryland 0 for their last 4. They haven't scored in over 2 minutes. Brown. It's the screen from Dickinson across to Brooks. Now to Smith. Smith dribbles inside to the rack, lays it up, and they say he was fouled. Michigan will get 2 free throws at the line. 2:49 to go in the contest. Michigan 72, Maryland 61, and free throws upcoming for Mike Smith, who looks to be a little shaken up as he hit the floor hard. And we hit the final media timeout.
Oh, wow, he is limping.
He's a little hobbled, getting up.
Oh,
being
no.
a bit of pain. We'll see.
Oh, no.
72-61, Michigan on top. Well, you have to say with Michigan obviously losing Juwan Howard, being thrown out of this contest, it is definitely a luxury to have a guy like Phil Martelli, who has coached a lot of basketball over his years at St. Joseph's, to step in and be Michigan's coach. And
that is, and you got to hope that Mike Smith is healthy and ready to go, because that is the key to Michigan's offense right there.
So apparently one of the things that Turgeon said to Howard was, don't hang the banner because your banners come down, which is, of course, reference to the Fab Five having their banners sanctioned by the NCAA. But this is this has been one heck of a basketball game. Let's take a look at the stat sheet. Mike Smith, 14 points on 5 of 12 from the field. He's also got 14 assists for Michigan, a 14 and 14 game for Mike Smith today. Shawnee Brown, 10 points. Wagner, 16. Brooks, 13. Dickinson, only 6. He was in foul trouble in the first half. And Livers, 0 points on only 15 minutes. Isaiah Livers just hasn't had it today, but Michigan's had it going anyway. For Maryland, Eric Ayala leads with 17. Darryl Morcell with 16. Hamilton with 9, all of his on three-pointers. Wiggins with 8. Scott with 7. Michigan 51% from the field, 43% from 3. Maryland 46% from the field, 28% from 3. A quick game recap. Maryland led 36-24 at one point in the late stages of the first half. Michigan went on a 16-2 run to finish the half and led by 2 at the break.
Yeah.
And Maryland's offense has just been out of sync.
They haven't had a run since that three-point barrage at all. They've had that one little one earlier where
they've had 5-0, 7-0 spurts, but nothing of any extended duration.
No.
And that's really kept Maryland back.
And more importantly, they've let 12-0 spurts go away, and 10-0 spurts and 8-0 spurts. They've let Michigan's just let them jack up threes and they miss them.
Austin Davis leads Michigan with 8 boards. Wiggins leads Maryland with 7. He also leads Maryland with 5 assists, but Wiggins 0 for 7 from the field. Michigan 19-3 on the season, looking for win number 20. Phil Martelli is acting as the head coach after Juwan Howard's ejection, and he's talking to the players right now for Michigan as their huddle breaks. Maryland's huddle about to break.
My eye is kept on where Mike Smith is just to make sure he's doing okay.
He's back out onto the floor. Looks like no major pain, just a little bit of discomfort. And he'll have 2 free throws upcoming. Smith, 2 for 2 at the line. Michigan's only attempted 5 free throws. Maryland's only attempted 8 free throws. The interesting thing is that for a game that has been so, dictated in some parts by refereeing, there really haven't been that many fouls in this game.
Not real. Yeah, I know the story is, but the story of the game will be referees.
Yeah, referees and the coaches obviously going at it.
And then the players for a second.
You don't see that very often. Mike Smith's first free throw rattles around and down. 73-61 Michigan. 2:49 to go in the game. Mike Smith dribbles the basketball 3 times, bends the knees, and swishes that one. He's going to stay on the floor, so he looks all right. 74-61. Michigan's going to roll with the crunch time lineup of Smith, Brown, Brooks, Wagner, and Dickinson.
Like to see Shondy out there in crunch time. He's been probably the most consistent player tonight.
He was definitely Michigan's spark plug at different points in the first half when their offense was sputtering. And we're going to get an offensive foul on Aaron Wiggins.
That might.
Moving screen. That'll turn the ball back over to Michigan. They've got a 13-point edge. And now Maryland's going to have to go with a trap, try and force some turnovers as they are down by quite a bit with not a lot of time to come back. Wagner into Smith. Smith feels the double team up to Shondy Brown, flips it up to Eli Brooks, and Michigan's broken the trap rather easily, and now they're just going to hold the rock. They can wind it all the way down to 2:05.
Had an easy 2-for-1 with Dickinson, which is they're just going to let the clock roll.
Yeah, no reason to rush at the moment when you've got this kind of a lead. Dickinson to Smith, 8 on the shot clock. He waits, 5 on the shot clock. Crisscross and a pull-up jumper from the free throw line. Swish for Mike Smith, 76-61 Michigan. They lead now by 15, 2 minutes to go, and Maryland may well be out of time in this one. Wiggins to Morsell, back to Wiggins, pull-up 3, and he finally gets one to go. Aaron Wiggins started 0 for 7 from distance, and he makes one there. Cuts the lead to 12, 1:40 to go. Wagner inbounds it to Smith. Double team comes, flips to Eli Brooks, up to Shondy Brown. And now he'll just wait, and foul is going to come. Maryland's got another foul to give before they can put Michigan in the bonus. 1:31. 24 on the shot clock. 76-64 Wolverines. Shondy Brown comes over to inbound the ball. Eli Brooks. It's the inbound. Now he hands it off to Mike Smith. Smith will just stand there and dribble. Maryland's not going to foul. They basically have conceded this one. Smith gets small screen, and he's just going to dribble around into the lane. Waits, backs up, outside. Eli Brooks, pull up 3. Eli Brooks knocks it down. Eli Brooks, 4 of 8 from 3.
Wow.
No ankle problems here. 60 seconds to go in the game. Final minute.
Good to see that.
Morsell at the free throw line. Dribbles in on Dickinson. Maryland trails 79-64. Ayala runs into trouble. Gets it over to Morsell. Stripped by Mike Smith. They've got Wagner there for a potential dunk, and Smith is just going to throw on the brakes, though. Didn't want to risk a turnover, and he's going to dribble it around. Dickinson telling the fans to get pumped up. Smith waits. 30 seconds to go in the game. 10 on the shot clock, 27 on the game clock. He's going to dribble around. Step back jumper off the heel. Maryland the rebound. 20 seconds to go in the game. They'll come up with it. Dribbling inside Ayala, and he scoops it up and scoops it in. 13 seconds left. Inbound to Mike Smith. He'll dribble up the court, and telling the Michigan fans, a lot of them in attendance here today, to get pumped up. 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and that'll do it. Our final score here today as the horn sounds. Michigan 79, Maryland 66, and Phil Martelli just waves goodbye to Mark Turgeon, not wanting any further encounters. And both teams will head to their locker rooms. Wolverines get it done here in game 1 of what they hope will be a 3-day weekend, and they move into the Big Ten tournament semifinal matchup against either the Purdue Boilermakers or the Ohio State Buckeyes. Opponent TBD, depending on how this second game of the day session here in Indianapolis goes. Any last thoughts about this one?
Michigan played great down the stretch, and it's good to see that everyone's getting excited with the fans. As it now occurs to me that Hunter Dickinson is having his first interaction with non-family friends, with non-family fans.
Michigan 79, Maryland 66, and that'll do it for our coverage here today. We want to thank you for joining us here on WCBN Sports. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time against either Purdue or Ohio State. But until then, we will leave you with a good night and a Go Blue from Indianapolis.